Hello there. So today I want to read an excerpt from a book called In Love with the World by Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. Sorry Yongey, cannot pronounce your name very well. This is an amazing book. It really is. It's not hidden with, difficult language. It's not cryptic. It's straight to the point, and the book is amazing because it really kind of gives you this moment-to-moment guide of how to work with the mind. And so what I want to read you today is he kind of breaks down working with the mind. He breaks it down into 3 stages. So I just want to read these stages to you. I want to kind of expand on his words and really kind of intertwine it with my own experience. So yeah, thank you. Please like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. And I'm also offering free one-on-one video sessions with me. If you're interested, I'll link the application below. Okay, so let's get going. Most beginners start with the idea that meditation is supposed to be peaceful. If they feel peaceful, they conclude that they are doing things right. Soon enough, a disturbing thought or emotion erupts, and this is identified as a problem. We do not like disturbances. We start off with this dualistic preference. We want smooth ocean waters with no waves. When the waves come, we say we cannot meditate, or we assume that the presence of waves means we are not meditating correctly. But the waves keep coming anyway, always. It is how we perceive them that changes. We can relate to these waves as threatening monsters and try to push them away. We can apply certain mental techniques to subdue them, or we can pretend not to notice them or try to deny their presence. But there is no liberation in trying to get rid of the waves. And actually, if you examine the mind that is trying to get rid of the waves, you will discover that it's stuck on the problem. It is making a mountain out of a molehill. We can also tell ourselves intellectually, these waves are essentially empty. We can play with the ideas and concepts of emptiness and use intellectual logic to convince ourselves that the wave is not really a monster. But our hearts still feel the threat and react to protect ourselves from it. This describes the first stage of working with the mind. I just got bit by like some ant. I don't know what it was. Okay, so just to let you know, this book is based on Tibetan Buddhism. And a lot of the philosophies themselves, they really resonate with my own practice. And so I do want to relate this back to my own practice because I can see how it applies to myself. Okay, so here the author is describing the initial stages of meditation, maybe first couple of years, however long it takes. Each journey is unique, and obviously right now I'm speaking based on my own journey, so it could unfold differently for you. But yeah, the initial stages of meditation, we have this creeping sense of peace come in. However, a lot of it is purely just conceptual at this stage. I remember I begin to notice that I'm able to drop thoughts more easily. I'm able to live more in this kind of peaceful place where I don't worry as much, I don't dwell on things. And the stories themselves, they don't have as much power anymore. But you see, there's also this part of me that is also becoming extremely addicted to this peace, if that makes sense, and really falling in love with this emerging inner stillness. And so, unfortunately, because of these newly emerging periods of calm, whenever something came, whenever these waves came, as the author describes it, then yeah, I felt this big resistance towards it. I'd fallen in love with the calm. I didn't want these waves to come and cause havoc in my life. So at this stage, a lot of it is still conceptual, and we have these resistant thoughts. We conjure up these resistance thoughts saying things like, I shouldn't be feeling this. I want to get out of this. I want to go back to my peace. Why is the mind attacking me? Last week my mind was fine and now it's attacking me. And in this way, the periods of unrest, they kind of almost seem to intensify. They almost seem to be more painful than before. And this consistent resistance to these kind of polarities that we experience in life The Kabbalion, it talks a lot about polarity and how there is a pendulum that kind of swings us from side to side in this kind of rhythmic dance between, the high, the low, the high, the low. And at this stage, we're still very much a part of that. We're still very much in this swing of the pendulum. And through not being able to fully actually, accept the swing of the pendulum at this stage, not being able to accept the waves at this stage, then we're kind of lost in the commotion of the ocean, the commotion of the waves, as the author says. And it does feel like a threat, or a monster that we desperately want to get away from. The egoic voice in our head, it says, danger, danger, this is bad, you shouldn't be experiencing this. And that voice, unfortunately, it still has a lot of power over us. In the next stage, we are introduced to resting the mind in the spacious, non-conceptual aspect of mind that transcends the limited self. The waves might still be terrifying, but we begin to glimpse the boundless expanse of water beneath the surface, and this gives us more confidence to let them be. We do not yet see them as just waves, but our perspective has become so much bigger than the waves. Our personal stories of fear and loss, of rejection and self-recrimination are there. But they do not pervade every bit of space in our heads. Our fixed minds have loosened up a little bit, and once we recognize that our own version of reality exists within a vast impersonal experience of reality, these same stories do not disturb us as much. We might begin to think, oh, there's a wave forming on the surface of my mind, or there's a monster in my head. Okay, no problem. We can acknowledge the problem without reacting to it. We see it, but we do not feel it as much as we did earlier. The understanding of emptiness is dropping from the intellectual head to the experiential, feeling heart. The ratio is shifting. The more we rest in recognition of the spacious, empty mind, and the more we embody the wisdom of emptiness, the less impact the disturbances have. The wave is there, but now it is just a tiny movement in the vastness of the ocean. But at this point, we still get stuck on the surface with the waves and lose touch with the ocean beneath. So here we begin to really kind of sink deeper into the experiential level, and we have these deepenings into, yes, what we are beneath, what we are prior to the mind and the emotions and all of this kind of human experience. So yeah, it is this discovery of emptiness and stillness, and being able to really anchor ourselves into this, and within this is wisdom. There's so much wisdom, and it begins to really become something that we embody more and more on a daily basis. And obviously there are so many levels to this. There are so many stages within this in and of itself. But as we begin to have this disidentification from thought, we do sink into what we are beneath it. And in doing so, we detach from the story of the mind. And we cultivate this ability to really watch our life play out in front of us from an observer position, and it's no longer just conceptual, it actually happens. We're able to glide through our experiences with more ease because we see what we are beyond all of these earthly happenings. And we really begin to experience witness consciousness, observing everything and living from this witness consciousness more often. This deeper sense of self, whereas it was once more in the background, it's kind of shifting more into the foreground. This shift occurs within us. And this sense of being far greater than, the mind and its stories and the emotions, what it does is it really enables us to realize when we are being attacked by the mind and stay conscious through it, realize when we are having emotional uprises, and really sense this presence that watches it all unfold, resistance free. And there is this acceptance that's just kind of intertwined with the whole experience. We no longer try to get out of it because we know that it is temporary. And yet it doesn't feel as all-consuming. We don't feel as doomed. So in our observer position, in our place of kind of deep acceptance and surrender, we do watch the pendulum of life, the pendulum swinging between the highs and the lows, and we watch it pass beneath us. It is our resistance that causes the pain, the resistance that the mind likes to conjure up. So in our place of kind of radical acceptance, it does feel less painful. It's not like we're still not experiencing these emotions and feeling them fully. But we're just not so lost in the experience itself. And people around us, they might try to want to get help, desperately try to help us get out of what we are feeling, but we are quite surrendered in the process. Now at this stage, we are able to glimpse our true essence, our true nature, as that ocean. But it's not a state of permanence. We are yo-yoing between these dimensions, if you will. We're yo-yoing between these states of awareness. And yes, I find that I go through periods of my life where I feel very deep in the practice. And I feel very much like I'm on this, podium watching everything unfold and watching my life fold out on this TV screen, and I'm very surrendered in the process. However, there are other times where I feel more like I am being sucked under, being more identified with thoughts, and kind of more lost in these emotional uprises. So it is this fluctuation that kind of happens the way I experience it anyway in this stage. Obviously, absolutely everyone is different. And yes, of course, it's still important to remember that the rhythm of life is still unfolding and we are dancing between these two worlds. And I find a level of acceptance in that. Sometimes I can go like months where I just feel very, very, very lost in the illusion of mind and its stories. And yes, I can glimpse what I am beyond it throughout my day, but then I get lost back in it again. And I'm fine with that because this is a practice and this is something that I am going to only ever work towards, and I have to try and let go of the outcome. In the third stage, the wave no longer appears as a problem. It's still a wave, big or small, but we don't get stuck in it. We have become comfortable resting within the ocean itself. The ocean does not become calm and still. That is not the nature of ocean. But now we have become so familiar with the full expanse of the ocean that even the biggest waves no longer bother us. This is how we can now experience our thoughts and emotions, even those we have spent our lives trying to be free of. Every moment of the mind and every emotional reaction is still just a small wave on the vast surface of the awakened mind. So this third stage, it kind of encapsulates maybe what many people would call the enlightened state. So it's this embodiment, fully embodiment kind of our true nature beyond the egoic mind. At this stage we are identified with the ocean. This of course is completely it's just words. It's putting words towards something that really cannot be described. Perhaps at this stage what we are is, yes, we are an embodiment of our true nature. However, although we might see and really embody what we are beyond the egoic mind, we still are very much a part of the world and using the mind and emotional body to actually navigate the reality that we are in. And at this point, it's not like we are not subject to the law of rhythm still, this principle of rhythm that is constantly unfolding. We're still part of the ups and downs, but the difference is that we are not attached to them. We are completely attached to them, completely detached from them, and we really don't mind what happens, because we see what we are beyond all of that, all of the stories of the human experience, and we really are able to rest in our essence, in our beingness. So this is my interpretation of just this short excerpt from this wonderful, wonderful book. I really, really recommend reading it. It's such a fantastic read, and it will really help you to navigate your kind of day-to-day experiences with more of a conscious attitude. Obviously, it is words, and words can only point to our awakening. So definitely practice it as well, really cultivate that experience, because that's where we have these deepenings. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Once again, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye 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 bye.